I'm Puja Sharma of IBS Intelligence, and with me is Ganesh Nandan Prabhu, Director Products at PayU. PayU Finance, the lending arm of PayU, offers personal loans, EMIs largely focused on the underserved customers in India. To enable this at scale, PayU Finance works with Nucleus software, FinnOne Neo, the loan management system for PayU Finance. Welcome, Ganesh.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure always to have conversation with Nucleus team.
Okay, Ganesh. So, financial institutions are under pressure to adopt AI quickly, but are they solving real operational gaps or still being driven by FOMO, fear of missing out? That is, how do you separate necessity from hype?
Uh, the first thing that comes to my mind is there is no pressure as such, right? Um, the institutions are well aware of what their OKRs are. Uh, what I mean by OKRs is objectives and their targets that they have taken with their investors. They know what is required for them to use AI, and the skill penetration in India is the highest. There's a research where the AI skill penetration in India is uh, uh, the best in the world. There are challenges with respect to certain processes which are being done since ages. Um, we are able to identify those processes and then use AI in the way that it is to be used, right? It's not just that you have to ask the entire org to start running all the processes on AI. That's not true. I don't think so. There is any FOMO. Um, Majority of the financial institutions, including banks, NBFCs, and fintechs, are well aware of what they want to do. The idea is to use AI where you can move the needle with respect to either revenue or cost, right? If you look at majority of the use cases across the market, you will see that most of them are trying to use AI in customer service first, right? That's the easiest win, right? Because you have certain processes, you have certain SOPs to be followed by the customer service team, and you can easily use a voice bot, an email bot, or a chat bot to kind of replace those processes. I think that's where the efficiency lies, and then slowly and steadily things will move into domains where a lot of Excel is being used today, right? So consider this as a time when you have got Excel into your hands, right? And now things will change. Things will move from paper to Excel. Similarly, things will move from search, from Google search, and from Excel and Word to AI-driven co-working tools, right? Like you have Claude Co-work now coming in, you have Copilot. There's so many tools there. I think that will help us derive the efficiency and move the needle where it is required the most. So there is no FOMO for sure.
Across banking and payments, where is AI genuinely solving tangible pain points today? For customers, merchants, or internal teams?
So, in my mind, there are two big areas, where AI should solve the problem and will well ensure that it will solve the problem. We use it, right? We are very confident about it. The first area, as I said, is the customer touch point, right? There are a lot of processes today where uh, there are certain systems which are used for the customer service team and for the operations team uh, to service the customer in a certain way, right? We are into the lending industry, right? So normally we say that we work on targets, like we work on disbursal targets, right? But the actual work is done after the loan is disbursed, which is servicing, right? It's like a car showroom where you go and you're getting a car. That's great, but the actual work is the car servicing, right? So loan servicing is the main area, and then you also are responsible for getting the money back. Like giving money is easy. We are not in the business of selection. We are in the business of rejection. We have to choose the right customers, right? And then getting the money back. Now, when that cycle kicks in, you have lot of processes and SOPs where the customer will come to you. Customer will ask for something. They might ask for early closures in the lending ecosystem. They might ask you for certain information on what's going on with their profile, the statement of accounts. After the closure, they'll come and ask you for no due certificates. Right? There are so many processes involved, and therefore the constant touch point which exists today requires a lot of cost and bandwidth investment, right?
Right.
AI can definitely help us reduce that where you can streamline these processes, right? So that is one big use case which I see, and now this can have effects on the operational processes also, because operations team is also involved in doing this or servicing the customer. So one is the customer touch point, and the second is the financial recon part of it, or the processes where right now you're using Excel, you're using VLOOKUPs, right? That can easily be automated. So I think operations and customer service are two big areas. And apart from that, I think when you talk about the dispersal piece, or when you talk about the sales piece, right? You know that today you have a good amount of bandwidth in generating leads or getting customers come on your portal or your app, right? Lot of AI startups are working on a solution which will help you with lead generation. So that's another use case as such, which is kind of there right now. It's growing multifold today as we are speaking. But yeah, I think we'll have to see the effects of those use cases. We get to see that.
In highly regulated environment like payments and lending, how do you ensure AI-led innovation aligns with compliance and operational resilience?
So I'd like to answer that in a different way. Right, we as PayU Finance, for us, compliance is not just an activity to be done, but it's the core of our thought process, right? We are The target here is that compliance is the first thing to be done along with the customer requirement, right? So we are always there. We are first whenever it comes to any of the guidelines, any of the new compliance mandates that have come in from our regulators, right? Why we believe in that is because that helps us easily carve out our position in the market, because we literally feel that compliance is not actually hindering you, but it's actually streamlining the entire ecosystem. Which means if you're compliant, and then there will be few players who will not be able to come up the curve, and then you will have a better ecosystem where you'll have players who are fully compliant. It helps you ensure you have zero frauds, right? Right. If you don't adhere to the compliance or the cybersecurity guidelines or the guidelines which RBI comes up with, you will always have space for fraud. So it's always better to be there up first and ensure that you have zero fraud. If you look at the market in last 1.5 year, lot of phishing emails, the phishing emails which come, right? Today there is a statistics which says that 40% of this process of the hackers or people who want to kind of take leverage of this, who are sending these phishing emails, now they're using AI, and 40% of that is today being done by AI, which is scary, and that's where compliance plays a big role. If we adhere to what RBI is saying, if we adhere to what the regulators are saying, then we'll be able to prevent this, right? Now, how AI can help us achieve compliance, that is a gray area right now, at least in my mind, because right now we need to ensure that your processes are streamlined, and AI is yet not fully regulated. So the first thing that we do is we ensure that we don't use AI for any of the data which is related to financial upload or which is related to PI of the customer. It's absolutely not exposed, and you cannot expose that. So one thing that we need to do as financial institutions is think through on what is our business, think through where we can use AI to leverage it and reduce cost, but at the same time ensure that we don't fall for it, right? So we have to be very clear in our mind of what we don't have to do, and I feel that's the role what we as product and business and finance team have to play.
So now AI promises productivity gains, especially in compliance and operations. But how do you ensure it reduces fatigue and rather add another layer of complexity?
When you say compliance and operations, again, as I said, for
Yeah.
compliance, I think we need to ensure that we don't fall for AI in the wrong way. That's the first thing. Um, it reduces fatigue in terms of the bandwidth from ops perspective is what I feel, right? And you will be able to have more efficiency out of your existing workforce. See, every business works on two parameters. One is revenue and the other is cost, right? For revenue growth, you know that you have an entire workforce which will help you with sales and lead generation. There is a certain set of employees which are there, right? Now that can be reduced, or you can derive more efficiency out of an existing set of employees by deploying AI. So that's where the fatigue in terms of reaching the target with limited bandwidth, I think that's where AI can help you, right? That's one part of it. The other part of it is when you're chasing costs, right? That's where AI can help you further reduce your P&L overburdens.
Okay. So with wallets, gateways, and digital interference evolving rapidly, how can AI make these experiences more secure, personalized, and trustworthy?
So today you have things like you have a cybersecurity regulation which is already there,
Yeah.
right? AI can help you detect frauds. So if you see in the last GFF also, like majority of the new startups which were kind of showcasing their demos, uh, majority of them were working in the area of face match, fraud detection, in the area of KYC. I feel uh, that is where the innovation lies. KYC and fraud detection will help you ensure that you run a digital ecosystem much better compared to what it was earlier. Today, banks and NBFCs have fraud investigation units, right? Uh, which are able to identify certain nuances, right? But the fraudsters are much more ahead. They will again come back and find a loophole, right? So you need AI to even detect that and get the early warning signals and then accordingly mitigate those risks. So I think that's where AI plays a big role, and that's quite evident today. Like as I said, right, majority of the startups who are working in the KYC space are figuring it out things with AI. So that's very interesting.
So, Nucleus Software's latest release 8.5 FinnOne Neo introduces strong automation and compliance capabilities for banks. How do you see PayU Finance's merchant focused AI stack complementing these advances in creating more connected ecosystem?
So I would like to say this, that we are extremely happy going live on FinnOne Neo 8.5 loan management system. Uh, we uh, we actually we actually thought of upgrading it because we wanted to work on scale, right? For us, the area in which we are doing business right now, it is a personal loan area, right? So you have higher volume, you have smaller ticket size, which means you need a system which will help you work at that scale and which will be efficient with respect to the daily processes at the lowest infra cost, right? FinnOne helps us with that, right? FinnOne Neo 8.5 helps us with that. We have been fortunate enough, I would say, that we had a good team to help us with this upgrade. We did it in record time, as I said, in one month or so, 1.5 month, and we upgraded across 9 versions in a single attempt. That is absolutely because of the FinnOne Neo team's help. um, we are right now focusing on expanding the business of personal loans, and FinnOne Neo 8.5 is definitely part of that roadmap for us. We are not right now working on any of the AI stacks, to be very honest, but we are exploring AI stacks in different modules, which is more to do with the pre-dispersal front, or more to do with the sales and lead generation. We will kind of explore some of these areas later in the year, and I'm sure we'll have better experience.
So, how was the implementation experience for the latest Nucleus Software's FinnOne Neo?
So as I said, right, we're fortunate enough to have a good team. What I could clearly see is the intent of the FinnOne Neo support team and FinnOne Neo pre-sales team and the product team. Intent to ensure that the customer is successful, right? And no questions asked of why we are doing this, what we are doing. Of course, there are questions asked with respect to the product construct, but if there is a priority for the business, then that becomes priority of FinnOne Neo support team. So that experience was really great. Uh, I I can recall, like, there were instances while we were going live, there were instances where there were some changes to be done, and everyone was working on war footing front. We got some changes deployed within an hour or 2 hours. Like that's the fastest deployment that you can expect from a SaaS vendor, at least from a loan management system vendor. That has really helped us, achieve this upgrade across 9 versions of FinnOne Neo in record time. So it was good. It was good, and I'm hoping that we engage further. FinnOne Neo is a strategic partnership for us with respect to the loan management system as a service provider for loan management system. It's a SaaS service provider. We are looking at different products which we can scale on FinnOne Neo 8.5.
Ganesh, last but not the least, looking ahead with innovation like 8.5 FinnOne Neo and PayU Finance's AI driven solutions, will AI become true competitive differentiator or risk turning into expensive box ticking exercise?
So as I said, we need to be cautious in terms of what we are doing. Right, the approach for AI has to be within the umbrella of compliance, within the umbrella of cybersecurity. We have to absolutely strictly adhere to the guidelines which are shared by the regulators. And if we're able to do that, and if we're able to achieve the operational efficiency and efficiency across different support functions where today you require manual workforce, then I'm sure we'll be able to achieve the AI driven efficiency as you're calling it, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully we reach that sooner.
Thank you so much, Ganesh, for your time.
Thank you so much.